Hi everybody, Johnny DriveBYE here. A little while ago, Atheistic Snail's Journey asked a few of us to do this collaboration, and I agreed to help out. This is my response to the Cleveland preacher.
The secular world loves to make the God of the Bible look bad.
Moses, this is the Lord thy God, commanding you to obey my law.
I don't think you can really blame the secular world on that. The Bible kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it? I mean, that's supposed to be written by an all-knowing God. Well, it doesn't need the secular world to make it look bad.
Do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. A deaf man could hear you.
They'll often use excuses and things from the Old Testament law through Moses to try and make the God of the Bible look like a false God, like a bad person.
What?
Nothing, Gonish, forget it.
But really, when we actually dig deep and find out what the law really is trying to prevent, what it's trying to do, its purpose, why it was written, why it was given, to whom it was given to.
Oh, Lord, why have you chosen me? What would you have me do for you?
We actually find out that these laws are actually pretty smart and good. They're actually very beneficial to society.
And you're basing your evidence on what? A lot of the laws in there we don't follow.
Now atheists are thinking to themselves, yeah, this guy's promoting rape, this guy's promoting slavery, this guy's promoting sexism. Hold on. Stop.
Well, actually, now that you're putting up such a huge defense, I'm probably guessing that you're wanting to say that morals in the Bible are good. There was a reason for them.
You atheists are promoting the lack of understanding of history.
Hey, hold on there. You atheists, you're talking about the secular world. The secular world is not strictly atheists. Naughty.
Stop. You atheists are promoting the lack of understanding of history when you say that nonsense. When you read these Old Testament laws, you need to take it into context.
The Lord Jehovah has given unto you these 15.
Oi.
Well, now that's a smart thing to say. You know, just about everything in language, in semantics, has to be taken into context. Otherwise, we have a communication breakdown. I'm afraid you're totally right. Go on.
What does that mean? When you read something in context, you have to just not take one verse unless it lines up with all the other verses, but look at the surrounding verses.
These 15.
Oi.
Well, that's kind of a poor definition of context, but I guess I understand what you mean. Okay, go ahead.
Think what was going on in that day and age back then. What was the culture like? What was the mentality of mankind 3,000-4,000 years ago in the land of Judea?
These 15.
During that time period, what were they thinking towards women? What were women thinking towards men? It's very different than today. What was the language that this was written in? Was it written in English initially?
I'm Captain Obvious.
I'm really trying to figure out who you're trying to fool with all that gishgalop there. I mean, you're just being Captain Obvious right now.
So, we have to take all of this into account when reading. Today we're going to be talking about women and another example of how the law actually protects women in one sense and yet also protects the husbands and the fathers in another sense, depending on who sins. Because ultimately the law is to prevent sin. The whole purpose of each law given is for sin to be totally prevented. If people followed the law, then there's no sin. But if people broke the law, then there's sin. But of course, if people broke the law, it's not God's fault. He gave the law. It's their fault if they don't want to obey it. So, let's take a look at Deuteronomy chapter 22, starting at verse 13. If any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her, go in Old English, as this is the King James Version Bible, simply means he sleeps with her. Anytime the Old Testament of the King James Version Bible uses the term go in, it's referring to sleeping with the person.
Why can't you holy rollers just say it? When the husband boinks her or the man boinks her. Come on. That's what it's saying. Not sleeping with her. Boinking her. Sheesh.
So, if any man take a wife and go in unto her, and hate her, and give occasions of speech against her, and bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid. That phrase, I came to her, is the same that's also used throughout the Old Testament of a man sleeping with her.
Boinking her. Boink, boink, boinking her.
Okay? So, he says he found her not a maid. Women were to be maidservants or housewomen, not what the opposite of that would have been a whore, a non-virgin, a woman who's loose, who doesn't stay at home.
Oh? You're going to tell me that there's something bad with her being a whore? Why is she in that position?
But a maid was a good girl, a virgin, okay? That's what it means. So, a man is suddenly coming up to this accusation after he married this woman and saying, hey, this girl, she's not a virgin. Because obviously, when virginity is broken the first time of sleeping with a woman, the hymen is broken and blood is released.
You do realize that some women don't even have a hymen or are incapable of bleeding. So how does that make it fair? Did God just decide that they'd be punished anyway? Become prostitutes? That's pretty sad that you're trying to say that that's a moralistic thing. Shame on you. I mean, that's pretty immoral. Why couldn't he just say, don't do this to women? I mean, he's all-powerful. Don't you think they would listen to him? I don't know, man. You're just trying to make that book look good. Because it can't be wrong to you.
Which means it would have been shown on the clothing, the sheets, whatever. Let's continue on.
You got to think. Think. Mr. I had the Holy Spirit in me, boy. No, you can't get by with that. So, back then, your all-knowing God didn't know that some women don't have a hymen. Or don't have the ability to bleed, at least. He didn't know that. So these women were just forced into prostitution because of your God. Or a burden on their brother and father. Onto her brother and father. What in the fuck? What in the hell makes you just not think about that? That's what I'd like to know.